You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible.
Delvin Carter is a fashion designer who designs everything from shoes to jewelry. Recently, he sat down with Roland to talk about what he does and why he does it.
Devlin Carter, welcome to Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Thank you for having me, sir. How you doing?
Doing great. So I saw you interview on the Breakfast Club, and what I was intrigued by was the fact that something that we talk a lot about on this show, this being a black-owned, independent media outlet focusing on, not asking other folks for permission to do what we do. And that's what I thought was also intriguing about what you are doing with Sia Collective. And your deal is there's something we can't make. And so where did it all begin for you? What was that moment where you said, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually build it myself and not actually wait for other people?
So that moment, that's a great question. So that moment happened for me. I was still enlisted in the United States Coast Guard. And at the time, I was living in New York, and my daughters, because I'm divorced, I was divorced at the time, I'm married now, but they were living here and I was living in New York. And I just was like, you know what, I can't continue to live like this, to have my kids have to only see me on holidays and stuff like that. So I got the military to transfer me back to the Bay Area. And when I got here, I said, you know what, I need to make extra money. So I was always good at customizing shoes, which is like taking them apart, remaking them. And I had a lot of orders, and I'm in my military uniform at the post office, and I have like 10 boxes of custom orders that I have to send out to the clients. And I'm sitting on the line, not sitting on line, but I'm standing on line, and I'm looking at the cashier in the post office. And this is no knock to postal workers, but I looked at him and I said, when he was a kid, did he tell his mom, I want to work for the post office when I get older? And, and me as a parent with daughters, and I want to tell them, follow your dreams. But here I am compromising my dream, just for a paycheck. So it was at that moment in the line, I said, you know what? I have to start making my way out of the Coast Guard and making my way as what I feel like my God-given talent was. And that was the design, clothing, shoes, and things of that nature. So it was at that moment at the post office where I said, you know what? I can't be scared, because I don't want to be a hypocrite as a parent. I want to tell my child, like, you can do this. It's okay to chase your dreams. And if I didn't like give up an 11-year military career where I only had 9 years left to get a retirement check, I felt like I would be a hypocrite to tell them, no, chase your dreams, because it was never my dream to be in the military. It was my dream to be a designer, but I made a promise with my sister, if I didn't make it in fashion by the age of 25, that I would give the armed forces a try, and that's what happened.
And one of the things that I think is interesting about that, again, we're living in a time where folks want to take chances, want to take risks, but also there are people who have fear. And you talked about, seizing the moment. And so how did you explain to others who, I guarantee you, there's no doubt in my mind there are people who came to you and said, dude, you crazy. You're absolutely out of your mind. What's wrong with you? You can't do this. Or you actually think you can make shoes and clothes and shades and everything else? You're out of your mind. And so how did you respond to folks who doubted you, who may have been haters, who had fear themselves?
All right, so when you're in the military, it's pretty much you're just you're a prisoner. You know what I'm saying? You have the same exact mentality as a person in jail, because the 1st and 15th, you're getting paid. Uncle Sam's telling you when you're going to your doctor's appointment, such and such. So we have that same kind of mind state that we are like prisoners in a way. So when I was going to get out of the Coast Guard, a lot of my military brothers were like, man, the economy's not good, man. They were more scared for me than I was scared. But I was terrified, because, see, the thing is, when I moved out here, I thought I was going to stay in for 20 years. But after I was here for a year, they tried to move me again to New York City. And I was like, I promised my daughters I would never move again. So I said, listen, I'm not going to take that billet, because that's what we call it. I'm not going to take that billet. You're just going to have to let me out my contract, because if you deny your orders, they'll let you out of your contract. You'll still get your honorable discharge. But at that time, Roland, I only had $1,300 in my bank account, you know, and I had my apartment was $1,300 at the time, and my car note was $1,000. So I didn't even have enough. It was like at that moment, giving up this career, and then it's either, what do you want? You want to live in your car, you want to live in your house. So but at that moment, it sunk in with me. I cried. I'm not gonna lie. I have a daughter who passed away when she was 11 months. And when I made this decision, I went to her gravesite. And I said, Daily, I need you to watch over Daddy. I'm going to do something that's super scary, and I need you to be my guardian angel. And I said, you know what? I'm going to trust the process. So I told him I want to get out. I got out, had $1,300 to my name, and I just started taking a lot of custom orders. And I started taking a lot of orders. And the way my discharge was, it was so bad that because I got a hardship discharge, which I didn't get unemployment. So I didn't even have unemployment to pay my rent. So I literally was living like off of my talent alone. And I said all I needed to do was to last 4 months until I could go to college, because I had the GI Bill. And the GI Bill would pay me, since I live in the Bay Area, it would give me $4,000 a month just to go to school, and it will help me. And the $4,000 is your rent money. So I was like, if I can make it 4 months, I'll be good. I'll be in school, and I won't have to worry about looking for a job. So I actually was able to do that. I was able to maintain, you know, and not be homeless. But I told myself at that moment, I will never, ever live check to check. I will never, ever allow a company or an organization to have this much power over me where I'm crying because I'm a check away from being homeless. You know, so at that moment, I said, no more reckless spending. I started sacrificing. That's one thing people don't do. I started eating and living as if I was poor. Even when I started making money, I would eat top ramen. And then I would only once a week treat myself to like steak or shrimp, you know. And then it came a point where I invented this rubber dye where it could dye like the clear soles of a shoe like this, and it can make it red, yellow, any color, and it wouldn't come out. In 1 month, I made $50,000 off of that dye. And so now I had a $50,000 cushion in my savings account. And from there, I became a religious saver and not just spending money. And I knew from that moment that if I wanted to get a loan from a company to start my own business, that it wouldn't happen, because your oppressor is not going to finance your freedom. So I just said, I'm going to keep saving and keep saving, because anything that I want to do and want to achieve is going to have to come off my blood, sweat, and tears, because a bank is not going to they'll give me a $100,000 school loan, but they're not going to give me a $15,000 business loan. You know, so I recognized that early, and I said, I'm not even going to put myself in that position to beg somebody to help me chase my dream. So I'm glad that I did that. I'm glad that I already knew how to sacrifice, being that I was raised by a single black mother, and I watched her work 3 jobs, you know, sleep only 4 hours a day. So because I seen that, I was already prepared for it unknowingly. So I never even struggled when I had that $1,300. I never had a point after that where I was almost homeless. I was scared because of what I had financially and what was ahead of me, but I never even struggled. And I went. And it took like 2 months, and from there, I started making the most money I ever made in my life.
Going through all of that also means that you have to do more than one thing. Look, the reality is, same thing when it comes to doing this show. There were people who said, "You got to be crazy. Why won't you try to go to CNN or MSNBC or try to work at one of these networks?" And I said, I'm not interested in asking somebody else permission. Can I go cover this? But what it also means, though, is that you have to learn different aspects of the business. And I think, to be perfectly honest, Devlin, I think there are a lot of people out there who say they want to be entrepreneurs, who say they want to have their own thing, but don't really understand the level of sacrifice and commitment, where you have to may not be able to pay yourself, but pay your staff. I mean, look, I'm in a position right now. I live off of my speeches, and I said, look, we've got to build this thing up, and I try to get people to understand that. Yes, there's flexibility, there's freedom, but one of the greatest things about being an entrepreneur is you have to sacrifice. And you have to do more than one thing, and you just can't say, well, we'll just hire somebody else to do it. Now that the money's not there to hire somebody to do it.
You got to learn it. Yeah, so for me, I had to learn how to be my own photographer. I always was good at marketing. Even I graduated from the Fashion Institute for Design and Merchandising in San Fran, and I was elected to be on the elite marketing group because I just knew how to market myself, market any product. So I never had that issue. But I'm also a workaholic, and I probably just like you, I don't like waiting on anybody.
Nope.
For anything.
No.
I am very exactly. I can tell. Like, I'm very impatient. Like, if it's something I want to do, I do it like that. I'm probably one of the only Instagram pages that can post like 4 times a day. And I'm always posting new stuff because I'm constantly working. Like, I'm a father of 4 kids. I have 3 daughters and 1 son. And that's the only thing in the world that means anything to me. I don't care about going out to clubs, meeting people. It's making sure that my kids have a better life than I had. You know, and the sacrifice thing that these people say they want this life, they want to be an entrepreneur. No, they don't. They just look at your page and say, oh, this guy's making some money. I want to do that. But that's not how it works. You actually have, it's so much more work that goes on behind the scene than the pretty pictures and the pretty filters that you see on social media. Like, they're not up with me last night when I didn't start working till 4 in the morning and had to wake up at 6:30 to take my daughters to school and then unload a truck of shoes that just came in a couple of hours ago. You know, they can't do that. Most of these people are lazy. Like, this new generation, they're lazy. They want everything handed to them. Everything that I've done is off of my own research. I've learned how to source. I've taken 15-hour flights to China to go and visit factories, walk around the whole country to find the things that I wanted. Because I know that the more research that I do, the more possibilities of financial streams I can do. Even if I didn't design clothes right now, I can start my own sourcing company and have people make their own goods, and I can take a percentage as a middleman because of all of the hard work and the legwork that I went through. And that's why when I tell people, it's a smack in the face when you tell a black-owned brand that their price is too high, or you should give out free stuff because Gucci does that. Well, I'm not Gucci, and I don't have $1 million, $3 million budget just for marketing. See, they don't understand when, for us, like me, if I make $50,000 this month, I have to turn it right back into the company so I can keep the company afloat to keep making things. If I give $10,000 a product away and it doesn't do anything for my business like that, because a lot of these celebrities, they'll take the stuff from you and they'll never post it. And even if they wear it, they won't even tag you in it. You cannot teach business with free stuff.
Right.
You know, you can't.
Well, look, the reason I fully understand that is because is like what we do. I mean, I've had people who come to me and they say, man, we would love for you to do your show from our event. And I go, well, you do know that means getting on an airplane, hotel rooms, that means flying staff, we have equipment, we're paying for stuff. And so it's not just, hey, just pop up. No, there's a cost involved. There have been other people who have understood that, and they've actually paid us. And then what was also interesting is when you want to do something, then people say, well, why is it that much? Well, because that's actually what it is. And so, I mean, it is a business. And I think that one of the things that look, my grandmother had a catering business. And then, you know, I worked at it since I was 7 years old, and I saw how different things work and how I felt she often would undercharge folks as opposed to saying, no, you're going to pay the full freight. And this is why I said, when me and my brother, we took the business over later, this is what I said to him. I said, you know what? If somebody's going to give me $20,000 worth of headaches, they're going to pay me $20,000. Because what's not going to happen, you're not going to give me $20,000 worth of headaches, and you're paying me $5,000, and now I'm mad as hell because I'm dealing with all your BS. And that's just sort of how I operate. And I will tell somebody no, as opposed to go through with that, because, again, I know the work goes in it. I know what I bring to the table. And so, and the other thing is when you talk about wanting something for free, I keep telling our audience, look, we've been building this show. We've taken our YouTube subs from 170,000 to now more than 350,000 in less than a year. We are averaging, 8 million total views on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. But what I tell our audience also is like, look, we are providing the service, but we also need them to be financial supporters of the show, because they can't say, man, we need this, but then don't want to pay for it, because it's like, yo, when you pay that cable bill, you're actually paying CNN. You're paying MSNBC, because they're getting a certain fee per subscriber every time the person turns that cable television on. And so it's just trying to get people to understand that. And I think that's what's critically important.
Yeah, and one thing about like what you touched on is, one thing is people think because they pay you for a service that they own you. And that's the thing we have to get out. Like, for instance, somebody be like, okay, well, I spent $200 on a shoe or something, and they feel like they could talk down to you. They could be like, well, if it was Nike, I would have got it in 2 days. Well, you know what I do? I do the same thing you do. I was like, well, what's your order number? Okay, here you go. Here's your refund. Because one thing about me and the way I was raised under the mom code, which is MOM, morals over money. I will not let you demoralize me for a financial gain. Everything that I'm doing, I love that I do it by myself, because I don't have to deal with the BS. When you're in the military, you cannot not deal with the BS, because if somebody outranks you, they talk to you how they want. They try, but they'll try to talk to you how they want to, because they know they outrank you and you have to listen to them.
Right.
And because of that, I didn't leave a career to be a free man in a sense, to have you treat me the same way that I did not like to be treated already, just because you spent a little bit of money. I'd rather not have your money. It's like you said, I'd rather not deal with the headache. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much more people who appreciate it and respect it. The thing is, between us and people of color, we have to start seeing value in our own skin, in those relationships. Like on the Breakfast Club, I said that, the biggest threat to black-owned businesses and stuff is black people. We're always so quick to say we need this, we need that, but then we don't pay for it. Like you see a show like yours. Like I'm sure you probably have a Patreon or something where people can donate money. Yeah. It's people who probably watch your show every day and they never put money in your Patreon account. When they could put $2 a month, that $2 a month from 100,000 people, that's enough to keep you going.
No, you're absolutely right.
And pay your staff and even get better equipment.
Yep.
But they don't understand that independence. Like, $2 is nothing. As much garbage I buy, like $2 is nothing. If you are watching something like me, I watch your show from time to time when I'm shipping orders, and I'm going to start paying into your Patreon, because I'm not just going to be about it. I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm actually be about it, because it is true. We don't know. And for some of us who are watching right now, they may not know, like, oh, man, I never thought about it. Roland Martin's 100% independent. I should start paying. If we could pay for Netflix and Hulu and all those other things, why can't we pay for our own brother to give us the truth, the type of media coverage that we do not get? You know what I'm saying? Yep. We have to start supporting those things, and because our people we are the only racial group that does not believe in group economics.
And it's interesting.
And we're like the number one shoppers.
And it's interesting.
We're the number one consumers of everything, but we don't believe in group economics.
You made that point. I've been saying that for years. And so, for instance, there are numerous times when I go into black-owned businesses, restaurants, and things along those lines. I remember I was at Two Partners in barbecue place in Dallas. And the brother who owned, he said, no, Roland, I got it. I said, no. I said, I'm going to pay for it. I said, because the reality is that plate, that fork, I said, you got employees. I said, I'm going to pay for it. I said, no problem whatsoever. And the people who will say, well, hold up, how, you got free, if somebody's giving you something for free. I said, no, what you don't understand is, I said, that brother has a business. And what I try to get people to understand is that when just like for you, I'm sure the people who go to your site and they're like, well, why is it this much? Guess what? When they walk into Walmart, or when they go to Macy's, or they go to Saks Fifth Avenue, they don't ask the question, how much is it? They say, what the tag say? And then if there's no tag, they'll scan something and they say, this is what it is. And so my deal is, I'm right there with you. We've got to stop looking for the hookup with black-owned businesses and understand that they are a business just like any other business. Last question for you. How did the, just very curious, obviously the Breakfast Club has a huge platform. How did that change your business? Do people all of a sudden start hitting you up because they finally? So some people say, "Man, just like me, I didn't realize you existed." It's like, "Yo, I gotta get this brother on." And so, what was the reaction? What was the fallout from it?
So my FBCC page, I had 148,000 followers. I have like 185,000 now. My clothing line page, the Saya Collective, went from 30,000 to 85,000. The funny thing is, though, I get messages now. Some guy DM me a few. Hey, man, I seen you at the Breakfast Club. Super inspirational. I've been following your page for years. You know what? I'm going to go buy something. I'm like, I didn't even respond to him. I'm like, you've been following me for years. You've been seeing the hard work I've been putting in. You didn't want to buy nothing until I was on the Breakfast Club. So the Breakfast Club is what made you be like, you know,
they validated you.
You legit now. Like, I've been legit for the last 5 years killing stuff. But because I'm on the Breakfast Club, now you want to spend some money with me. Like, you've been following my page for 5 years. You done seen me go through struggles. You done seen me keep consistently bringing this. You done seen me do free programs for the kids. I teach young kids and children of color how to sew for free. I teach them how to do fashion design, and I don't charge the parents. And the sad part is most of those parents don't even come back to the store and even buy a T-shirt. I feed their kids. I told them I don't want no money from you. I take their kids on field trips, and this is all on my own dime because nobody did this for me. And one thing that I want to be a part of the change. I want to spark that change behind me. Those young kids coming up, maybe one day they'll be a big fashion designer. They'll be like, hey, man, Devlin Carter was my teacher. He taught me when I was 8 years old. Now look at what I'm doing. You know, it's crazy, but the Breakfast Club definitely brought a lot. But the good thing about the Breakfast Club is I get celebrities hitting me up now, and they're like, yo, I love your stuff. And I don't want it for free. I want to pay for it. You know, so at least I'm getting, like I had Shaq hit me up last night. So I'm working on a shoe for Shaq. He's like, hey, man, I want you to make me some shoes. I buy in bulk. I don't want it cheap, but can you make a size 22? I was like, I hit my factory up. I said, hey, can we make, he wants like this shoe right here. I was like, can we make a size 22 in this sole? He was like, yeah, we could make it. So right now we're working on, you know, making Shaq his own shoes of my shoe, which is crazy for an independent company to be able to make a damn size 22 shoe for Shaq. But
Love it.
Real cool. He's like, man, I don't want no discounts, man, and I want 20 pairs of each. You know, so that was a blessing.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. So again, congrats. Tell people, give people the website again.
Okay, so the website is SIACOLLECTIVE.com. That's Saya Collective, which stands for Somewhere in America. And I have my own app where you can shop on the app, and it's called Somewhere in America. That's the app, and the page is Saya Collective. So SIA_collective that's at Instagram. So that's the Instagram handle in FBCC Bay Area.
And you're based, where are you based?
I'm based in the Bay Area, California, but I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay, well, hopefully when I get to the Bay Area, our paths will cross. Devlin, I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot and good luck.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate you having me on, man. Stay blessed and keep doing what you're doing. I'm a huge fan, and I'm going to donate to that Patreon.
And I'll definitely be going to, well, actually, we have it set up where we don't even use Patreon. Go right to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. And so I definitely will download your app and check the stuff out and pick up a couple of things. I appreciate it, brother. You take care.
All right, you too, brother.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, November 7th through 11th, I want y'all to join me in Cabo, Mexico for the Luxe Jazz experience, folks. It's going to be an amazing, top-notch music and upscale destination. The weekend-long event is going to be held at the Omnia Day Club in Los Cabos. Ooh, looks real good. Of course, nestled in the Sea of Cortez and the celebrity playground of Los Cabos, Mexico. The Luxe Jazz experience offers a huge event for jazz aficionados, and folks are going to have food, going to have music, all those fun things, luxury accommodations, you name it, taking place, including golf and spa, health, and wellness options for all of you. You got big names in entertainment for the second annual Luxe Jazz experience. Among those folks who have been, of course, confirmed, comedian actor Mark Curry, my frat Gerald Albright, Alex Bouillon, Raul Madon, Incognito, Pieces of a Dream, my favorite Kirk Whalum, Average White Band, gospel artist Donnie McClurkin, Shalea, Roy Ayers, Tom Brown, Ronnie Laws, and Ernest Quarles. An amazing lineup of folks that you want to be able to check out, folks. So you're going to come on down to Cabo. And in fact, we're going to be doing Roland Martin Unfiltered there on the 7th and the 8th, that Thursday and Friday, right there from Cabo. It's going to be a phenomenal opportunity. Those of y'all who are in, of course, the cold areas in the country, yeah, come on, give me the beach back. In the cold areas of the country, come on down to Cabo for those days in November. It's going to be fantastic. For more information, please visit the website at LifeLuxeJazz.com, LifeLuxeJazz.com. I would love to see you there. My birthday is right about 3 days after that, so we can also make it a birthday celebration. And so it's going to be a phenomenal experience. Go to LifeLuxeJazz.com if you're looking for a great opportunity. Got some great packages running anywhere from $1,300 up to $2,000. But again, jazz concerts, food, music. We're going to have a grand time. And see, there'll be one of those folks who go, dang, I wish I had gone. You got an opportunity. So go to LifeLuxeJazz.com right now for all of the details. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.